All right, so I guess while you're setting that up, so Kaga is going to be the concept for the Kaga is death by 1,000 cuts. It's you have a lot of planes. They're lower tier planes, which means that they don't individually deal tons of damage, but you know you're coming as a swarm, and because you're coming as a swarm, you know it's going to be a thing. So the 3 different armament types you have bombs, you have torps, and you have rockets. You have 3 full squadrons at the start of the match for each type. So you have 36 torps, 36 bombs, 24 rockets, as rockets go out in packs of 8. The most important weapon you have on the Kaga is your torpedoes, because your torpedoes are the ones that hit the hardest. So we're going to start out with torps, and we're going to look at what the torp lines are going to show. So that'll be our first thing. All right. You could torp a cruiser if you want. You could torp a battleship. Either way, we're just going to check your technique, which I'm sure you've kind of refined in co-op or whatever, so I don't think that's going to be an issue per se, but yeah. And if you're streaming World of Warships, can you lower like your resolution or your frame rate or something? Because it's just blocky as hell.
Better?
Yes. Because it was just super chunky. Okay, so with the Kaga, one of the Japanese things is that you're going to have long attack lines. You can turn some, you shouldn't turn much. And when you make your attack, you're going to want to make your attack within 3.6, 3.5 kilometers so that you sink underneath the aimed flak. When you're coming in, you're going to have to be dodging flak, but we can save that for another line. So take a strike on a North Carolina, and yeah, so it takes a little while to aim. Looks like it's about 5 seconds, maybe about 7, I guess, to fully dial in, and then obviously you see the drop. Now, it's a significant amount of lead. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to lead with the lead bots because they're not going to move. You can go ahead and recall. We'll go on the bombs. So, as this is a Japanese carrier, again, it's designed around the concept of long attack lines. So you want to be attacking on the line that you're going to be holding all the way through. Kaga has an older style reticle, an older style Japanese reticle, so you can actually get away with not doing that. You can off angle, say 30 degrees, and there's a lot of forward movement in the Japanese reticle, as opposed to like the US line, which is going to be more stops and kind of hangs out in a specific spot. So for instance, you're slamming on the brakes right now, but you could actually go full speed throughout the entirety of a drop. So what I want you to do is pick a battleship that you're not dead on to, maybe the one to the left of Popov, let's see, Milo or whatever, and just kind of go in at an angle. And I want you to accelerate the whole way through the drop. So you'll be actually clicking your attack maybe with the reticle a little behind the ship, because you're going to be striking it a little forward of that as you just keep burning through. As you notice, there's a lot of forward movement through the strike, which allows you to interact with AA and get the fuck out. Now, in general, you have 12 planes with a Kaga, so you can go in and strike, possibly spin around and strike a second time. Did you see the recent coaching session I did with the Midway?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so after you make this drop, we're going to do another round of bombers, but we're going to do it in a specific way. So you go ahead and take your drop, go back, and send out some more bombs. Don't use your boost when going over there. We'll talk about cruise control in a second, but I'm going to set you up for this. So you're going to strike the Kansas, Popov. While you do this, you're going to set the reticle a little either on the ship or a little like on the back turret of the ship. And you're going to slam on the brakes as you come in, and you're going to drop close. As soon as you click the button to drop, you're going to go hard to the left. And when the bombs hit, you're going to go hard to the right instead. You're basically going to be drawing a light bulb behind the Kansas as you're going to swing through, around, and back onto it. So go ahead, put the reticle on there. Slam on the brakes. Firm up, try and get your drop. Hard to the left, hard left, left, and now to the right. And you need to accelerate in, try and wrap around. So unfortunately, there is a lot of movement with these. So you don't necessarily have the ability to swing back in, but let's try again. So I want you to go in on the Kansas, slam on the brakes before you get your drop, and while holding down on the brakes, I want you to start going to the left. Left, left, left hard. Now to the right. To the right. Keep braking. And now accelerate as you finish halfway through the turn to try to complete it. And honestly, it just doesn't look like it's going to do anything. So if you're trying to make multiple attacks on a battleship and it's going to throw you so far out, the answer is you're not going to be able to swing out and make the attacks like you could on a midway. There's more space needed. So don't be afraid to conserve your boost so that when you come in to make your drop, you can boost out of the AA and catch your new line to come back in. So we're going to do that once again. You're going to take off with the bombs. We're going to work on cruise control now. Do you know what cruise control is?
No, not really.
I want you to speed up to maximum speed. As soon as you touch it, let go. Let go. So 182 looks like it's max speed. You're going to let it coast until your boost meter is filled and then go back up again. Let go. As soon as it's 182, you're going to let the boost refill. And you're basically just pinging, you know, up and down. So back up to 182. And you're trying to, like, go an average of a speed in the middle without throwing away your boost. Now you can hard commit to a Kansas. Burn in, burn in, burn in. Full speed, full speed, full speed. Go in, take your drop. If you have to slow down to firm the reticle, you can. But otherwise, you need to be going full speed the entire way through the drop. And look back at the ship, look back at the ship, look back at the ship. So it's a little late, but basically we're going to start taking AA damage at 4.8 kilometers away from the target, which means we're already off into the long range AA as opposed to lingering in the short. Now, I'd like you to see you turn the bomb, so I don't want you to strike Popov, I want you to strike the Kansas Milo. So start your attack now and curl onto it. So you have the reticle to the left of the target and you're going to start curling in. And there you go. Cool. Do it. Now I want you to drop a fighter over the DDs, which are where you are now. And I want you to curl onto a DD. Don't strike it directly. You should come at it like at a 30-degree off angle. Because the bombs can curl. It's not to say that they want to curl. If you had the option to, you know, have a direct strike, that would be better. But like this is a good angle. So if you're striking the Benson, you want the reticle to the left, to the left, to the left. And then now start to curl in so that you can line it out. And you can feel how much maneuverability you have on the bombs. Can't guarantee that they'll hit, but you can still set yourself up for success. If you're curling to the right, you're going to have the reticle off to the left to give you the ability to swing in. Because if you just put the reticle directly on the target, you're not going to be able to maneuver. Understand?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to go after the Benson again. You have at least a few seconds left on the fighter. And if you can, try to do it at full speed. Now, if you end up catching a Benson in the wild, you might have to slam on the brakes and all that stuff, but... Well, now you're just on top of them, so ideally we'd be looking to try to curl in just for practicing, or maybe pick a different DD, and you can slam on the brakes if you have to get on top of them. But the big thing is feeling the movement of the bombs. Cool, so the reticle is to the right, and then slowly swinging on. They're maneuverable, but they're not midway bombers, so you need to set yourself up for the turn. Try it again. And before you do, hit M and start your carrier moving forward. Good. Reticle off to the left because you're going to curl to the right. Try to gauge it. You're coming in. Onto the ship. There's the drop. Looks like you got 2, which is nice. So your carrier's starting to move. And just straighten it out and tell it to go full forward. You don't even have to use autopilot. You just tell it to go full forward. So. Alright. Yeah, it's like, God, that thing's slow. Anyway, take off with some rocket planes. So you understand how to use torps. You understand how to use bombs. We can torp at full speed as well, but rockets are going to be pretty significant. So if you look over to the left of your aiming, you have a 4.07 seconds little stopwatchy looking thing, right? That means that there's a 4-second delay when you shoot your little, machine guns and shit, and then your rockets fire. And there's additional time before the rockets actually shoot. I want you to lead your carrier, because your carrier is moving. I want you to feel how much of a lead that's actually going to take. So it's going to be pretty significant. You're probably going to lead like half a carrier length in front of it, because I think the Kaga is probably around 30 knots. I could be wrong on that. So that's too much. That's way too much. Half a carrier length. Half a carrier length. So that's a full carrier length. You might nip him, but that's pretty far front. So that's like a little more than a full carrier in front of the carrier you're shooting at. So we'll try it again. You make the turn, half a carrier length in front of it. That looks better. Still a little too much. You want to go half a carrier length in front. So you got a little piece of it, but you need to do less still. So visualize the carrier, add a half of one, and that's where you're aiming. Good. Unfortunately, you were too far, but that's just because of your turn in. But you'll notice you struck basically dead center if you had it on the correct line. Shoot again. Now, are you going to be able to bingo destroyers with this? No. Are you going to be able to bingo cruisers with this? Possibly. Are you going to be able to bingo carriers with this? Sure. It's a little low. Are you going to, you're going to have to keep in mind what you're trying to attack with rockets, if you even use them ever. The rockets on the Kaga are not strong. It's a backup weapon, if anything else. But it is certainly something that you could use, and having at least an idea as to how far you're going to be leading, you're basically just visualizing off the tip of the nose how far you're going, because off the tip of the nose is the carrier, is off the tip of the nose of a DD, is off the tip of the nose of a cruiser. And you'll notice you keep putting the reticle right at the waterline. You actually want to put it a little behind it, because you want to strike into the side of the ship, or you want to strike onto the deck of the ship or the superstructure of the ship. You don't want to strike on the waterline. These aren't AP rockets. You don't get citadels with these. That's much better, because as the thing fills out, now you get to shoot into the side. Thunk, you get to do what? 5,600?
Yeah.
Let's do that again. All right, so after this shot, that's a little too low again. You're aiming at the waterline. I want you to take off and with torpedo planes. Lead your hull with torpedo planes. Little too much. Well, you dropped really early, because your arming is not going to kiss the hull, but that ends up working. I think that's 3 possibly. So let's try to get that a little more firmed up on the reticle and get that drop a little closer to the hull. But that's a good line. I like that line. Little lead, little more lead, little more lead. Probably get, well, they might all hit. Cool. A little close on the last one, but it was still good. And that's a little too close actually to come in, because you can see where that reticle pip was. So,
Yeah.
all right. I want you to turn the rudder hard left. Just 2 pings to the left, leave it there. Cool. Take off with torps. So remember that the little white pip that's going to be on the water is going to be triangle stuff. It's going to look like a little triangle thing. That's telling you that if you start your attack and you don't turn or speed up or slow down or anything, that is where your torps arming point is when you're fully dialed in and aimed. So you can use that as your guide for when you're going to be attacking stuff. Your internet is not good. Might have been a little too close. You might actually dud there. And because the ship is turning very hard, it's also slowing down, so it's a bit overled. Now, one thing you did wrong there is after you attacked, you turned in such a way that he's just going to be nose into you, as opposed to going sideways. So you want to read the turn and try to respond off of it. So like if you would turn to your plane's left here to try to curl in and catch some side, which is what you're doing. So that's correct. Unless you wanted to go for like a long play. Okay, you can go ahead and quit out of the training room. And what frames per second did you put it at when you streamed the WoWs thing?
60.
Yeah, don't do 60. Can you put it at like 30 or 15? Because it's just not supporting that. Alright, so once you leave this, go back into a training room, and I want you to add a single ship, maybe like a Montana with AA or something. Oh, you didn't have to mess with that. You just put one bot. So, battleship, Montana, bot is armed, not moving. Yeah, there we go. And you can start the battle. First things first, throw the CV into reverse, just to make sure that you don't get owned by the Montana, although you probably don't get detected. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Alright, so we're going to look at flak. Do you know how to dodge flak?
Only like the basic of basics.
Sure. So we're going to take some Torp planes because God knows we got planes to lose. So with flak, once you enter the AA range of a ship, its flak gunners are going to take aim. That takes about half a second, and then they're going to shoot. And they're going to shoot at a position that's on the line of travel that your planes are currently going. So if you kind of feel that timing, you start to turn before the shells get there, and then they blow up in a way that's not where you are. And then more shells will come 2 seconds later, and you turn to avoid going into that place. So basically it's like a flak waltz. So you're going to hit 6 kilometers, and you're going to shoot 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. So there's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. And you're already within 3.6. So that's what that is, but you still ate flak. So how do we avoid that? Well, if you take a pretty direct line on the Montana, well, then you're going to be eating flak because you're not going to give yourself a lot of room to maneuver. So what I want you to do is go to basically F5 and start your attack line on the Montana from there. And if you can you increase your map? Hit the plus button. A lot of CV is reading the map, so big map, good map. And if you want to hit control, you can click on the gear and make the map transparent so you can see through it. Water transparency. You don't have to go all the way, but whatever. So you can see through it, which is nice. Alright, so we didn't get to make this approach very good. So that's incorrect. You want to just recall. Don't strike the ship. There's no reason to sink it. We're using it for flak. So just recall. Alright, so that did not work out very well. And go ahead and stop your ship. Alright, go with the Torps. Let's look at what our movement is. So first off, we're going to cruise control over to the Montana because nobody likes wasting time. So 182 and then down, 182 and then down. As you start to get into attack range, maybe about 8 kilometers, you're going to want to start speeding up because you're going to be hitting flak areas. And the faster you go, the faster you get through the area, and the faster you go, the further ahead of you the flak gets thrown because your planes are going faster, which means you have more room to turn. So this little like left and right wiggle thing is not going to do anything for you. This is not dodging flak. So don't shoot the Montana or drop too close to the Torp stink and recall. What I want you to think of is like making a U-turn, okay? So if you make like or maybe like a crescent moon or something, you know, just kind of a slow turn. I don't want you to go at the Montana. I want you to circle or like make a 90-degree slow turn to put you into the line with the Montana so that you're crossing that at around 3.5. So basically you're going to go over to like F F5, F6. You're going to be on that 5-6 line going basically south. So about where you are, go south. Nope. South. Dead south. Straight south. There you go. Start accelerating. Turn to the left. Turn to the left. Turn to the left. You've missed the first flak wall. Start turning to the right. Now start going in. You see how you place the flak there. Mm-hmm. Cool. Don't strike the ship. Stop killing shit. Back out. More torps. So you gave yourself the ability to place the first wall and avoid it. You placed the second wall, you avoided it, and then you were close enough that the third wall was not in your way and you could start your attack. So do the same thing. You're going to be going down to that 5-6 line and you're going to be going south. You're not looking to go parallel to this thing. You're looking to give yourself the ability to turn in and have room to maneuver. So full speed to the left. So you recall. Yeah. So what you did there is you're pointing at the ship and then you kept going at the ship. Well, if the flak gunners can see where your planes are pointed, they're going to put flak between you and your target. So you're basically, you're eyeballing a hot chick at a bar. You're not really committing to it yet. You're kind of feeling it out. You're looking at the situation out. You're giving her some side eye. And, you know, maybe your friends leave or whatever. You want to go over, you want to talk to her. Maybe you want to buy her a drink, whatever. You start getting up, you start moseying over there. You don't go directly to her. You don't want to scare your prey. You want to check out the lady. You want to give her some room to breathe, but you're moving closer. That's kind of what you're doing. You're doing the side eye thing. So go to that 5-6 line or between there and start going south. Pay attention when you get to about the 7 kilometers, then you want to start speeding up. Because again, the faster your planes are going, the further out the flak has to be, because otherwise your planes would just fly past the flak, so they have to lead you correctly. So you're getting to 7, speed up. Turn left. Okay, recall. So you're taking... How do I put this? So let's think about this. Let's think about what happened with the Montana. As soon as you pass 6 kilometers, your little AA indicator starts going on. You see little tracers and shit, whatever. You start taking some damage. They're little yellow particles or whatever. They'll take a few seconds and then they'll show up, and that's going to be the flak stuff. Boom, boom, boom. So as soon as you get to the 6 kilometers and they start shooting, you need to mentally know half a second from now, that first flak wave goes into the air. And once those shells go into the air, they can't turn. They're going to go wherever the fuck you put them. So if you go into 6 and you start doing the little left and right wiggle thing, then they're just going to put the flak in front of you. So when you cross the 6, you point your ass in a direction that you are not intending to go. And as soon as you've counted in your head about half a second, then you turn. And the flak will go where they thought you were going to go, but you weren't. And then you give yourself about, a second and a half, 2 seconds for the next round of flak to go, and then you turn before it gets there. And hopefully by that point, you got your way in to where that last flak cloud's not going to intercept you, and you get a clean drop in on the Montana.
When I watched a video, it said it's inevitable that you'll hit flak sometime. So.
Well, yes, realistically, even the best people don't dodge flak, but you have to know left. You also need to speed up. If you don't speed up, the flak is closer to your planes. That gives you less room to maneuver. Do it again. You can do it with bombs. It doesn't matter. Planes are planes. But your torpedoes are going to be your big armament, and especially because the Kaga can be up-tiered to tier 9s and 10s that have just stupid amounts of flak. That's something that you're going to have to pay attention to. So pretend you're using Torps. You don't even have to go in, bow in. Just go in from the side like you were doing Torp stuff again. This is all about placing the flak. Speed up. Now to the left. Now to the right. So when I say to the left, I mean like a good turn, not like 6 degrees off. I mean an actual, like, get away from the wall. All right, so we're going to do cruise control to kind of get there a little faster. Going to start paying attention around 7.5 kilometers, where we're going to start to speed up. No, don't burn all your boost. Don't burn all your boost. You need that for the attack run. Speed up. You want to go full speed when you cross that 6. To the left, to the left, to the left. Now to the right. So we placed that wall, and now because we were slow in turning back in, we ended up turning into the wall.
Am I doing something wrong with the turning lane? Because I'm like max turning or trying to.
You turned too long because it's about the timing of the guns. They fire 1,000, 2, 1,000, fire 1,000, 2, 1,000, fire. So maybe I can try to count seconds. So maybe it's a little more enumerated, but basically the timer starts as soon as you pass that 6 kilometers, and then you're placing walls. So I'll try and do that. Speed up. Time starts now. Left and right and next and next. Like these are the timings for the flak drops. Do it again. Don't blow all your boost. Seven clicks, speed up. And left. And right. And last. Cool. So if you were in Torp planes, you could slide under that last flak wave and you wouldn't have any interaction with it. Do you feel it any better?
Yeah. Actually.
Bomb him from the front. Use your bombers and bomb the Montana from the front. Now in this case, you don't have to necessarily do that the loping slow turn in. You could come in from the front and just kind of like angle off one way, then angle the other way, and then just go in mid, basically. You could do that. And also, we're going to change up your attack pattern slightly. So we're going to get to the 7 kilometers. We're going to speed up. So you're going to look off kind of to the side of the ship, give it a little side eye, kind of like you're doing now. Go in. Don't point directly at the ship. Point off to the right of the ship. Speed up, speed up, speed up. And left. And see, this is where you don't want to be pointing directly at the ship, because now you're kind of doing the wiggle thing. You got through, but you took a lot of flak damage. Bombs again. So let's try and get like a 30-degree offset between you and that Montana. And the timer starts as soon as you hit 6 kilometers, so that we want to make sure we're going fast. The thing that we're going to do differently here is that after the second time, when you start turning left, that you're going to place the second wall, you're going to go to the right, you're going to slow down as you're doing that, and then you're going to accelerate home. Left, more left, because you didn't go left enough, and you turn back into the wall. Let's...
All right, I'll go from the front again.
Cool. So you're going to be crossing 6 kilometers, looking 30 degrees off to the right of the Montana to give you a nice amount of space. And then that first turn is going to go left hard, almost 30 degrees to the left of the Montana. You're going to make a significant turn until you feel, oh, nope, I got to cut back in. And when you do, you're going to drop the speed. You're no longer going to be accelerating. And then you're going to accelerate hard in for the left. This is too close to the Montana. Good turn, though. Into the right. Slow down. Okay, that worked. That worked out okay. Now, let's take a second and think, why did that work? Your first drop, or your first flak clouds, were placed off to the right of the Montana. Could have been a little further, but hey, whatever. You turned a lot to the left. So you put that next flak cloud, let's just bullshit a number and say like 50 degrees, 60 degrees off to the left of the Montana. So there was a lot of space open now. And as you were turning back into the right, you crossed that 3.6, 3.5 kilometers, which is where flak gunners stop aiming. And they took a shot off to the left of the Montana, like 10 or 15 degrees, which meant you had clear skies to go through and make the bombing run. So as long as you're not pointing at the Montana when you cross 3.5, 3.6, the flak gets put somewhere else, which means it's not between you and the ship, which means you can fly through and do your thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
We're going to do this one more time, and then we can go to randoms.
Yeah, because like when I play ranked in this thing, I really have no problem, dealing with battleships and cruisers and stuff. When it comes to destroyers, which wins games, can't kill them.
Well, CV's got nerfed in that respect, so it's not really about killing DDs all the time. That got changed. That's no longer a thing. Further to the right, further to the right, further to the right. Now left, left, hard left, hard left, hard left, hard left. Back in, slow down. Okay, cool. Worked out, and you can make the drop. So no flak interactions. Now, this can be complicated by having more ships than just the Montana. He could have a friend. He could have a DD that opens up that you didn't know was there. Surprise motherfuck you, Holland. You could have stuff that's going to give you extenuating circumstances, but this is the practice of how you juke flak. And eventually, you do this so much, you don't think about it. You just kind of move every 2 seconds, and you just assume you're probably not gonna get murdered. So before we go into the random battle, we're going to look at upgrades. We're going to look at commander stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Here are my upgrades.
Wait. What resolution did you click, and what frame rate did you click for the streaming?
The best streaming was 720p and then 60 FPS, but I put 720p 30 FPS.
Okay.
I'm not able to stream in 1080.
Can you go to 15?
Yeah.
Because it's just the connection's not there, so we're gonna try to firm this up a little bit.
I don't know why that is. I mean, my internet isn't bad. It's strange. I'll figure it out.
Is what it is. All right, well, that makes it much clearer, so that's nice. All right, so looking at upgrades, first two, just picked the plain ones. Cool. For slot 3, you have Torp Speed. That's what I personally pick. So, I mean, I agree with that, sure. Torp Health, that's what I personally pick because I think the Torps are the highlight of the line for the Kaga. And then you have Concealment. Why do you have Concealment?
Because you can get down your torpedo squadron, like the detectability of your torpedo squadron, down to like 7 kilometers, which I thought was nice.
6.7.
Yeah.
So the other reason it's good to have the Concealment, your aerial detection is not great in the Kaga. So that could theoretically get you shelled down, and you have paper mache for armor, so people can shit on you from a distance. And also, you start with so many planes that if you had flight deck, it's probably not going to do anything. If you were doing something competitive like ranked, I might recommend the consumable mod, so you have longer duration fighters, but that depends on if you give a shit about fighters or not, but I do. So let's go into the commander build and look at what that is.
I think it's okay. I mean, I specifically built for aircraft HP and then for torpedoes.
Okay, so this is not correct. I'm going to preface this by saying you could literally play this game with 0 commander skills. So with that out of the way, it doesn't matter, but at the same time, it matters. So you can't change it. It's fine. You don't have to change it. It's okay. Unless you have a higher commander point skill, because this is a premium. So if you've got, there you go. Let's pull the 18 off the Yamato. Let's pull the Yamamoto.
Yeah, actually, okay, hold on. I got this.
No, it's a premium. It doesn't screw anything up. You can just pick him.
I have to. It won't let me.
Oh, you need slots. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna pick as we go. So first off, you can see some of the recommended little yellow tabs. Pick the one that's on the top. Air Supremacy. It's going to release planes a little faster. Realistically, in the Kaga, you probably don't need more planes, but having planes is better than not having planes, because having planes means you can do something. So I tend to prefer this one, and once you become an advanced CV player, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but this is what I'm going to recommend to you. On the second line, you picked the heal thing. I think that's incorrect. Speed is going to be the thing. You're going to want the that right there, improved engines, because you are spending the entire game flying around. So 2.5% faster almost amounts to a free strike because your planes are faster within the game. Like you'll do so much shit, you'll shave an extra 2 seconds here, an extra 3 seconds there, an extra 2 seconds here, and it's going to build up to 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and you literally get a free strike that you wouldn't have had because your planes were just that much slower before. Also, that's going to give you more effective health because you get through the AA faster. It's a little bit faster, but it's faster. For the row 3, airplane armor and health, survivability expert and airplane armor. Because even though you have throwaway planes, having planes is better than not having planes. They're right next to each other. Yeah, so that's the base 9 points for every CV in the game. Again, when you become an advanced CV player, you can do whatever the fuck you want. That's completely on you. But for training, that's what we're doing. So now you've got 9 points. It's not a 21-point commander, but 9 points is a lot. After you pass 9, you can really do whatever the fuck you want. So that's not a big deal. Torps are the lifeblood of the Kaga to me, so I personally think proximity fuse is great. What does proxy fuse do?
Anti-torpedo protection negation plus 10%.
So how much damage does that give you?
Okay, I got this. 5,400.
540 more damage per torp. Although technically it's probably a little less than that because you never get full damage off an aerial torpedo. So 450 damage a torp times 4, you might strike a battleship twice. You know, that's suddenly 1,800, 3,600 damage just off of a single, group of strikes. It's a good skill for the Kaga. The Kaga lives off torps. That's going to leave you 5 additional points. Now, we did just talk about flak, but if you're still new to flak, taking the flak reduction is not going to be a bad choice. You had it before. I'm not saying it's a bad choice to take it now, because having planes is better than not having planes. Now, for the 1 point that you have remaining, I want you to look at the boost talents. So there's Engine Techie, which is an awkward talent and is only used in very specific circumstances. Then there's Last Gasp, and then Improved Engine Boost. Now, Last Gasp could be cool, because you could bomb with your squadron of 12, and you bomb and you've lost 2 planes, 3 planes, and then as you're coming back around, you lose that 4th plane and you're down to your last 4, and then boop, you have all of your boost back. So Last Gasp can be really cool with the 3 squadron, or like 3 attack squadrons. So it's definitely a thought, but I just want to point something out that not everybody knows. So I want you to look over at your torpedo bombers real quick, and we're gonna see. Woo, that's all blurry as hell. Can you unlook and then relook, because it's not updating? Wow, that looks terrible. So somewhere on there, the stream has ended. I'm trying again. Torpedo bombers, cool, there we go. So engine boost time, 22 seconds, engine boost reload time, 40. The reason why that's important is 20 is your base. One of your upgrades gives you plus 10, so you're up to 22. So you're regenning 11 units, or sorry, 1.1 seconds of boost time every 2 seconds of regen. And if you take the little engine boost, the plus 5, that brings it up to a little further, 23 or 24 or something. So it not only does it give you more boost in the tank, but it enhances your regen. So if you're making long flights from point A to point B, that can give you a lot. It can give you more regen to allow you to cruise control better, basically. So it's going to be between Improved Engine Boost or Last Gasp. That's a personal choice to you. I don't care which one you pick, but that's where the single point's going to go. So cool, you can go ahead and master it. And just double check that your camo's good and whatever, which I'm sure it is. So camo's fine. All right, flag's fine, whatever. So we can hop into randoms and try to do the thing. Or ranked if you wanted to do ranked, it's up to you.
I'll do ranked.
Sure. It's less ships, so I mean that could be helpful in terms of there's a little less massed AA, but I mean ranked can be tough as well. Alright, so ranked is going to follow a pattern, and it's going to be often about point denial. So one of the first things you're going to do in ranked, other than giving your team information, is looking for a delay on the safe cap. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, I know exactly what that means, actually.
Cool. So what's the best thing to delay on the safe cap? Is it torps, is it bombs, or is it rockets?
It's gotta be torps, right?
Bombs. Because you can't guarantee that you hit something with torps if it has no gun pressure. Yeah, the turpits might take a long ass shot. You don't have to move back. There's no reason to. So if they can just turn, then they just juke your torps. Now you might be able to hit a battleship with torps because they're slow to turn, but cruisers, they'll probably outturn you. They don't care. DDs, fuck no. That ain't gonna happen. And a sub, of course, isn't gonna do anything. Cruise control and point yourself at sea. Oh, you're gonna drop a fighter for your dude? Okay.
Well, I wasn't gonna do that, but
Well, you don't have to. I'm sure he can handle himself. Plus, I think you're against a Graf Zeppelin or something, so his ability to hurt a DD is pretty shit. And now instead of going up to like 182, you go up to 187, so you have a little more speed there, which is nice. So he didn't drop a fighter, you didn't drop a fighter. Rather than go directly to C, I want you to go into the middle there and basically look to drop a fighter around D6. Because that's potentially going to give you some information as cruisers move into position or battleships move into position. And more to the point, it's not just going to get shot down. It's going to stay up for a little while, which is going to help your team kind of know what the fuck is going on. Because Operation A is letting your team know what the fuck is going on. So there's somebody in C. You want to find this person in C. It's probably a destroyer. Full boost, full boost, full boost. Don't fuck with it. Go in there and find him. No, you're running away. You're not going to catch him. You have 15 seconds. Yeah, who cares about the hipper? You got to reset. Resets. Find him. Reset him. Start your attack. So you're going to lose planes to do things. That's okay. Drop. Hopefully you get a reset there. You do? Cool. Swing back in. Do it again. You'll be able to drop before the fighter latches. It takes 2 seconds for it to get on top of you. Now you're probably not going to get an effective reset here, but you might be able to hurt the DD a little. Yeah, is what it is. All right, so now you know what's going on. Torps. Why? Because you're going to work on the North Carolina, but can you attack the North Carolina from the middle map or from the south part of the map?
I mean, I can attack from the middle because only the hipper.
You can't because there's rocks in the way.
Oh, okay. I see.
So you're going to want to start heading along the G line so that you can get to the outside, because if he uses the rocks for cover, then you're not going to be able to interact with them.
Right.
So one of the things you're going to have to look at in any CV is what is your attack line? What's your way in? And if the North Cal is just going to hump the rock, well, then that's not a way in. So you have to set up. It sucks to be in a situation where you can't least time to your opponent, but that's the reality of it. You can move your CV up. Because the enemy CV is striking the surface ships, they're not striking you. So you can move up like about a grid square, make yourself a little closer so you're not going all the way across the map. If you felt more comfortable, you could play even more aggressively still, but being not dead is much better than being dead, so it'll be okay.
Should I attack hipper since he can't heal?
Are you going to be able to stop the hipper from turning?
No.
Correct. So the Harlem is too far away to stop the hipper. You can't stop the hipper. The Akazuki isn't torping, so you're going to strike the North Carolina because it's slower.
Okay.
It would be good to get damage into the hipper, and the hipper might suck as a player and just go straight line and let you kill him. But you can't guarantee that. You have to assume that your enemy has a clue. So you're going to work on the thing that you can work on. You did the wiggle thing. You didn't set up for the drop. Use your heal. Now you might be able to make this strike on the other end while you've got this between the island stuff going on. So try and get in there as fast as possible so you can actually hit this dude. Cool. A little too close. What are you going to pick?
Torps again.
No, bombs.
Okay.
Because now you can start helping with the hipper because he's close enough to be shot at by the Harlem. And bombs can track cruisers even as they turn.
Right.
If you had floods on the North Cal, you could try to set fires on him. Or you might end up spotting the DD that's likely spotting your Harlem that just got him nailed. So there we go. There's the DD. So at least there's that information. But you're going to help your Harlem not be dead, because you have 4 people up on A, they have 3, so you're winning that. But unfortunately, your DD is fucking off, so it's literally you and a Harlem against a North Cal and a Hipper and a Cossack.
Should I start moving my CV?
You don't have to. You're pretty safe at the moment. Mostly you just want to kill the Hipper, so let's focus on killing the Hipper. Remember how to curl and try to set up for that. Also, don't just fly forward, because flying forward means eating flak. You want to have some movement to place the flak in somewhere that's not directly between you and them. Forget the Cossack. Kill the Hipper. Kill the Hipper. If the Hipper is dead, then there's no AA, and you can sit on top of the Cossack while the Harlem kills him. Good job with the turning. Cool. More. Yeah, good shit. Don't watch. Go out and kill. More bombs. More bombs. More bombs. More bombs. Because you have to be able to hit the target. Now you can work on a Cossack and pray to God that the Harlem is still alive when you do. At least the North Cal hasn't committed. He's kind of fucked off to his own little happy land. So he's going to still be able to shoot the Harlem, but at least he's not, threatening the cap. And if you can stick on top of that Cossack, the Akazuki might actually nut the fuck up and shoot him, which would be great. So meanwhile, you guys have taken A, which is cool. You had more ships than they do. Their ships died. Awesome. So if you can just contain this Cossack for a little while, those dudes will get out of A and they'll start becoming relevant on the map. And then you'll have more people than they do, and that usually means death. So at this point, it's not about killing the Cossack, it's about camping the Cossack. Because the only way you're going to see this is if your Akazuki shoves up and starts trying to run him down, but the Cossack has Hydro, so really the Akazuki kind of doesn't want to do that. The thing that's going to work for you is Cossack has a really low duration smoke, 40 seconds, so just hang out, circle, be the vulture, embrace your inner asshole, because the Akazuki is here, he's ready to shoot. The Harlem is not dead, which is fucking great, because he should have a fast cycling heal as a Dutch cruiser. So really at this point, you're just trying to be there. And if you stay further than 10 kilometers away from the North Carolina, you're not going to eat AA for free while you camp the smoke. But you do need to be close enough in case he's trying to run out of it, although you see he's actually shooting. Go back in, smoke is gone. So the smoke is fading. Some puffs, I guess, at the end are probably overlapped, but he should be leaving his smoke now, and you want to be on top of that. So have a little bit of an internal timer as to how long that smoke's going to last. And there he's spotted. So it's not about striking when you have 2 teammates that can kill this dude. So it's almost more valuable not to strike the Cossack, so that you have more so you have more planes to be able to sit on top of him and keep him lit for your teammates to kill.
Yeah, that's my fault.
The other thing is, when you took the strike there, you went from 7 planes down to 3, and your 3 planes have to live in the Cossack and the North Carolina AA, and North Carolina AA does not suck.
Right.
So that was not correct. But the good news is the Cossack blew his next smoke because they have rapid cycling smokes, so that allows you to come back with a full set of shit. Akazuki is being able to farm the North Cal, while the Harlem, who is still not dead, is able to spot, which is great. And by the time you get there, that smoke's actually going to start dissipating. Now here's an interesting trick. Well, it's probably not going to matter because the North Cal's there, so never mind. Does the Harlem shoot down the fighter? No. Harlem will eventually start ripping up the fighter, but you could eat that anyway, because it's 5 planes and you have 12. So, alright, the back and forth wiggle thing, it's not effective. We definitely have to get those skills. No!
I only recalled because of the flak in the fighters, so I was worried that,
So the answer is you do not recall there. You camp the Cossack, so that the Harlem or the Akazuki can kill him. You force the next smoke. He just smoked again, so that's cool, but you force him to smoke.
Okay.
So the Kaga literally starts with 94 planes. So if the enemy CC or CV puts down a fighter and you lose 5 planes because of it, who the fuck cares? You didn't need to pre-drop there.
Oh, I know, but the game's over.
Oh, so Who cares if you lose 5 planes? You can sustain those losses because you have lots of waves of lower tier planes. You can throw away resources to achieve goals. And in that case, that was a goal to achieve. Spot the Cossack, get the enemy shells into it. Because you can bomb the Cossack 20 times and you cannot guarantee that you will ever get a single bomb hit. But you can absolutely know that the Harlem is going to get some shell hits, the Akazuki is going to get some shell hits, and you're going to start ripping health off that dude. So, next. So, things that happened. 1, we got a reset on the enemy safe cap. That gives you a point advantage. Good. If you ever have a point advantage, the enemy team is the one that has to fuck up by overextending to be able to get points somehow. 2, you focused on a flank that you were able to help. Not a flank that was gone, a flank that you were able to help. There was a Hipper who was obviously outclassed. The Akazuki fucking bailed for some stupid reason. I guess he just like, oh, he's fucked, and he bailed. But because you were able to get the Hipper down, the Akazuki nutted the hell up and came back and helped, which is great. Then you've got, on the other flank, they had enough resources to fully achieve their objectives, and they didn't fuck it up. So, woot. Sometimes, even though you have 4 and they have 3 on a flank, you may still have to go over there and provide some kind of spotting or bullying or support, because sometimes your players are just not winning the fight. But thankfully, in this case, they were. So, always nice when you have 1 fire to put out instead of 2.
Here, do I want to back up a little bit?
Nope. So, go back and look at the screen again. Look at the enemy ships. There's a North Carolina that has range and a Bismarck that kind of doesn't. So the North Cal might shoot you, but in order to shoot you, you have to be lit by Implacable. And your D7 is going to move to A, your Hipper is going to move over to C. You're going to have AA in front of you, which means it's unlikely that the CV is just going to come over and camp you.
Right.
So if you're not lit, they're not taking shots, which means you don't have to run away. You can be where you're going to be.
And so I want to go to B to prevent.
Ideally, yes. So you want a fighter that's going to spot both flanks. So that's probably a fighter in G7. So it'll be able to see the people move into C, it'll see the people move into B, and it'll just kind of give some information. And then after you drop that fighter, you're going to go over to B so that you can try to cock block whoever goes there. It might be the sub, it might be a cruiser, it might be the destroyer.
When you like face punch another squadron and you drop, isn't that a waste of a fighter if you drop one right in front of them?
Not if it catches them. So the implacable rocket planes are very slow. You could drop it here. Drop it here. Good. So that'll just give some basic spotting, but unfortunately, I guess it's just too far away to really mount to much, but maybe somebody leaves their AA on, and you're going to be over here kind of blocking C in case anybody's making that move.
Okay.
Your team is slow to head to A, so stopping them from taking B early is at least going to keep you with point parity, which is good. I don't know why you're going off into Timbuktu. I mean, if you can spot something safely, then by all means do it. And they're even in Bravo, so...
Well, I know where he has to be, so...
Cool. Reset him. Because your CAG is not even in the thing. That's one reset. Do it again. Do it better. Get more. Get a better line.
MC issue.
Well, yes. So his planes are gone. You're going to kill the fighter very soon. You could start reversing if you wanted to, but get that reset. Drop a fighter. No, he's going to finish it there. Recall. All right, so your AA is off. Hit P. And priority sector to kill the fighter or something. Cool. So let's get Torps out. And let's start moving your hull so you're not taking free damage.
Should I move it to like right here?
Right where?
Behind this island?
You could. I mean, if you want to take an island position, that's fine. It's just harder for you to interact with C if you're over on A, which is okay. You could go over to C10 behind the island there if you wanted to, because it looks like the battleships are over at B, so they wouldn't be able to shoot you. That's fine too. All right, so the implacable is going to start farming you, so you do need to start moving. You need to move into cover, and you can start striking those battleships. Done. Also, you might want to drop a fighter between where the CAG is and the Massachusetts, because you can see the enemy CV can just lease time.
Should I even worry about striking this guy?
No, because you won't hit him. But you can drop a fighter to keep him spotted, and then you need to go start hitting something else.
Oh, I am getting CV sniped. Great.
Well, yeah, you had your AA off, so I think you just thought you were easy meat. You might have turned it off because of the training room, but, well, your settings get remembered. Heal off to the left, drop off to the left. Technically, you could have gone on the Bismarck because you would have had a better shot there, and now you're coasting over short range, so you're going to lose a bunch of planes here. Try to strike the Bismarck. You're too close.
Yeah.
You covered it a little bit. Hopefully you get 3 torps on this. Whatever. Okay, bombs, 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 bombs. Cool. You're going to drop a fighter over where the CAG is. Why? Okay. Because the CV is going to either fly over the Massachusetts, over the Hipper, or over the CAG to come after you. You know he's coming after you, so plug the hole. Make him go around. Fighter, fighter, fighter. You may actually want to run your CV up to A10, because you just don't have enough health. You're going to start taking shots. And be prepared to move your CV if you have to.
I actually killed the CAG.
So you can strike the Bismarck here. Don't be afraid to turn your CV to dodge Torps. You're going to have to multitask here. Start turning your carrier the other way. His Torps are going wide. And priority sector. It is what it is. There's no reason to watch it. Just go. Bombs or something. Find something that kills things, because your life on this earth is limited. Don't watch the Torps. Go shoot something. So the good news is the CV's been up your ass, which means he has not been on top of your teammates. So if you can get behind the thing, great. What are they pinging? Are they pinging where a DD is?
I think where the carrier is. I mean, sorry, where the sub is.
Okay. Can you go hover the sub? Maybe you can torp the Edinburgh as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because he's behind an island, or sort of behind an island, so...
Okay, so you probably died to these bombers when they get to you. So try and find the sub. Left, 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 left. Look for the sub, because if you can camp him in open water, you can get some information and burn some dive time. Right. You want to get far enough away from the Edinburgh that you might be able to drop a fighter on top of him. And drop your fighter now, recall. Drop your fighter now, recall. Pick any plane, drop a fighter. Any plane, drop a fighter now. Hard turn to the right. Hard turn to the right. Any, just, okay, whatever. Hard turn now. Hard turn now. Recall and hard turn. Because if you're going to give him this line, he kills you. You also need to get a fighter down. It's a little late, though. Don't watch it. You may burn out. No, you don't. You don't burn out. He might get a second strike on you. Nope, he doesn't. Good. So you can just run up to A10. Try to make him take as long as it takes to get to you. And go camp the salmon with bombs.
Okay, okay. Okay, I just panicked.
Sure, it happens. That's part of ranked. So, it's a bitch. So why bombs? One, because you could bomb the sub if he comes to the surface. Right now he's lit, which means he's losing dive time at 4 times rate, yeah, 4 times. Which is great. The Edinburgh is going to come out of smoke soon, which means you could bomb that.
Yep.
And the CV will probably continue to ignore everybody that is not you so that it can come finalize you. And you cannot save yourself now. Rockets will kill you, so you don't have to worry about anything from this point on. He will eventually run you down. So you have the squadrons you're going to use, and you can just ignore it. So you don't have to camp this because the CAG is camping it. realistically, the sub should be at max depth, so that's poor play. Find the Edinburgh.
Yeah.
You could strike the Edinburgh and then swing over and kill the Cleveland. Full speed, full speed, full speed. Use your boost. You don't have time on this world, so you need to make your impacts now. Edinburgh, strike. You got planes up your ass in about 15 seconds. Recall, Torps, recall, Torps, recall, Torps. So you're about to, and fighter, drop a fighter. Cool. You're going to take Torps for the North Carolina that's all the way on the 3 line. The Edinburgh is probably dead to your teammates. Don't fly into the fighter. Don't fly into the fighter. So the Edinburgh is probably dead to your teammates, so that's cool. Hopefully the Massachusetts Hipper kill him, which means the North Cal is out of position. You could theoretically harass the Implacables for a a tasty little bit of fuck you, buddy. But right now, if you can just guarantee that Richelieu doesn't get murdered by the North Cal, then you guys claim the east flank, or the west flank, sorry. And once the Edinburgh goes down, you've claimed the west. Oh God. If you can lock down the west flank, you already have the east flank. The Implacable is going to get farmed. So if you just keep the Richelieu alive, then you basically just have all of the map.
So that's why CV sniping isn't a viable tactic, right? Because you waste a lot of resources. And sure, you kill the carrier, but it takes a while.
So you died 8.5 minutes into the game. Did the CV do anything other than go after you?
Nope.
No. Now, you only have 27,000 damage, so you didn't get a lot of damage in either, because, I mean, you were busy. Shit happens, that's part of learning. But he got 0 damage into your team. You got 27,000 damage into his team. You got multiple spotting interactions. You killed a lot of planes. The Implacable doesn't have a lot of planes to work with. So yes, he's throwing away early game pressure because he's just dumping into you in favor of late game pressure because the CV would be dead. However, it's mid game and all of his teammates are dead. So there is no late game pressure. It's not to say that he as a CV could have just, oh man, I could have fucking owned everything. I could have just won this game outright, because that's not realistically the truth. Well, that's a little too close. He's going to turn in, so he might dud those. And take your time. Aim. You don't have more planes. Make it work. You have an engine boost. Use it. Consumable. Engine boost. Consumable. Use it. There's no reason not to. Try to get another Torp in. You don't have a lot of time here, so you gotta go. Well, too late, because your planes don't have a lot of health. But still, you had 27,000 when you came over. You have 53 now, so you put 23,000 into the North Cal, which is going to help the Richelieu win.
It's nice, and the damage is pretty unhealable since it's technically Citadel damage.
If it hits the torpedo belt, yes. So, looks like the Richelieu wants the carrier, but he's also got a Massachusetts working on the carrier as well. You have 2 caps to their 1. Carrier probably dies soon. And you could see, as soon as you were dead, what happened? The Implacable killed the Edinburgh. So if this player actually knows how the fuck to play and get kills, he spent 8.5 minutes up your ass instead of working down your teammates. And if he knows how to play, that could have actually been pretty impactful. I think he's dead here. HE, what the hell? Well, the AP takes it. So at this point, you put some damage into the North Cal. Unfortunately, the Richelieu just feels like eating all the pens. So, but you've got a health lead across the 2 battleships at least. And the Implacable was out of planes, otherwise he wouldn't be on rockets. So I think you win this one. So
I guess technically we should wait because I want to be playing Kaga.
Yeah. So questions, comments, thoughts, criticisms. What's going through your head?
Let's see. I guess my question is it really just that hard to deal with destroyers now?
Yes, because you can't rocket them very easily, especially not in Japanese planes. So, of all the rocket planes, of all the HE rocket planes, there are now 4 types with the Soviets, right? There's British carriers. They have a 3-second lead time, and they have a big reticle. So it's likely that even if you miss, you still get some hits in. The US has kind of a medium lead time and a medium reticle. The Japanese have a small lead time, or a long lead time and a small reticle. So if you were going to fuck up a shot on a DD, the Japanese would be the thing to do it in, because you would accurately place something that gets juked. So, haha, go fuck yourself. Do you have the ability to bomb with the Kaga? Sure. Some players get really good at it. Is it a tactic that new players are just going to like, wow, this is so easy, I'm just going to kill everybody? No. The answer is no. So, as a newer player into PvP, you're going to see people evade you in ways that bots aren't, or operation stuff isn't. And as much as just dodge is a meme, there are players that know how planes work, and they will juke you. They will fuck with you. So always approach every situation assuming your enemy has a clue, and that your bombs are not just going to dumpster them. So you need to think of it, if you're going to interact with destroyers, you need to interact with destroyers while your team is also interacting with destroyers. Are you lighting the DD and your friends are shooting him? Are your friends lighting the DD and you can help shoot him as well? You need to have more than just you. You don't get to run around killing DDs anymore. Those days are gone. And you're going to hear some like Super Unicum CVs go like, lol, it's so easy. But realistically, it's not easy. It's hard. So, is what it is. So unfortunately, we've gone for a little over an hour. I do actually have to step out. So I hope this was useful to you. Sorry for like the overlong mechanical instruction, but I mean, hopefully that was useful. And we could continue later, but we did get some 2 ranked battles in. We got some mechanic discussion. Definitely work on the flank work, because you reverted to your old habits when you're going in for the flak stuff. You just kind of wiggled a little left and right and left and right and left and right. And it kind of works for you. It works in the lower tiers. Lower tiers have less AA. A ship might throw 2 flak puffs, 3 flak puffs. Doesn't throw 5. Well, when you get to tier 8s and you get to tier 10s, they start throwing 5s and 7s, and in some cases 10s if they really want to spec into it. So that's when you start hitting walls. And if you just fly straight, you die. So
I do have one last question for you before you go, though.
I got 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, no, it's gonna be a quick one. What was my impact on the game that allowed us to win? Like, what did I do?
In the first game, you saved the Harlem, and the Harlem was able to use fast cycling Dutch heals to stay alive and continually eat pressure from a DD from a Hipper that wanted to kill him but couldn't, a DD that wanted to kill him but couldn't, and a North Cal that wanted to kill him and couldn't. So because you came over there and helped with the Hipper, you kept the Harlem alive long enough that 3 members of the enemy team spent the entire game trying to kill a ship and could not. And you also inspired your Akazuki, like, oh, fuck, I guess the flank isn't broken. And he came over and mattered and helped a lot. So you reinforcing a flank held that flank while your team took the other one and began to wrap, forcing a win. Second time, what did you do? You got initial spotting off. Good. You got a reset. Good. Why? Because their DD was in the cap before yours was. So it's a little less point pressure on your team. You started taking damage from the enemy CV. Happens. You can't stop that, really. You can't just kill planes. You don't have the ability to do that. You took some battleship shells and you had your AA off. This signaled to the enemy CV, oh my god, we're going to kill this dude. He spent 8 minutes up your ass, which meant he wasn't on top of the sub. He wasn't on top of the DD lighting it. He wasn't working over cruisers that were trying to take benched up positions. He was on you. And because you were doing some evasive stuff, you were able to help with that. You had some torp pressure on the battleships in mid, although you didn't do a lot of damage. You did 27. I think most of that might have been to a Bismarck. I think it was mostly to a Bismarck. I think you scared a sub into the open when you went looking for him after somebody pinged, because all of a sudden he was being camped by a Kagero, which probably got him killed. And you also forced the Edinburgh to smoke when you went over in that area and you lit him. He smoked in response, so you blew a consumable as well. So you ate a lot of time and effort from the enemy CV. You forced a smoke. You forced a bad position on a sub. You got some damage into a Bismarck, and the damage you did into the North Carolina basically secured the fact that the end game was a win because you would outtrade them by getting those last torp planes off and getting like 7 torps into the North Cal, something like that. Carolina, not, I would say Cal, like California. So what was your impact? Huge? No, but it's 7 people on a team. Did you perform your function? Yes. Did you help? Yes. Was it enough? It was close, but it was enough. So it's not about running around getting 100,000 damage, because 100,000 damage looks cool, but it doesn't guarantee a win. It guarantees that you did 100,000 damage. That's all it does. Playing the map and enabling people to move around the map, take positions, win positions, hold flanks, win flanks, etc. That's what leads to wins. Points win. So I gotta go, but hope this was fun.
It was. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right.